Hi, this is Melissa with A Creative Journey with Melissa, and today I'm going to show you how to take a natural wood frame and customize it and make it your own and use bubble wrap for dimension and for texture. I just love this and it's so simple. I thought you guys would love to see it. You could do this with paper, of course, and you could do this with all different kinds of things, but I chose a wood frame. You can see how awesome that texture and that design looks. I just love it. It'd be cute for a swimming picture, which I actually have a great picture to put in there, so I will have to make a video of that and what I do with the frame after this texture part. I don't like to do really long videos because I don't know about you, but my attention span is not really long, so I like to get great ideas, have instruction, and go for it. That's kind of how I roll, so hopefully you follow the same or enjoy that is how I roll. At any rate, so this is the frame that we'll be doing, okay, but I'm going to show you what you need. So let's put this aside. What you'll need is you'll need some bubble wrap, and I suggest you cut it to the size of the frame. And the reason why is because it's easier to just do it straight for the size of the frame rather than trying to put little pieces on top, etc., etc. So actually I'm going to put this right here so you can see what I've got. So we've got the bubble wrap. This is a Michaels frame, just so you know. I think it's like $1, something like that. It's an unfinished frame. Got it at Michaels, and I love them. And it also comes with a little wooden dowel so that you can put it this way or this way, so you can stand it up vertically or horizontally, whichever works best for you. So that's why I love these. They're very versatile and inexpensive. You can make them look very expensive, though, with this great, fantastic technique. So what we need is this frame, the bubble wrap. I have like a little palette here. You can use this, or you can even use your area if it's protecting, and you can clean it off from the paint. I am using Folk Art Metallic Blue Sapphire. It's number 656, and I have one of my old favorite brushes. Even though it looks like there's paint on it, it's dried, and I just love this brush. I wish I could choose another one, but I don't want to. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to set this bubble wrap aside, and we're just going to paint this real quick. Make sure you shake up your paint because you want to make sure that you don't have any gumps or lumps or any of that stuff. So we're going to squeeze a little bit there and squeeze a little bit here just to make sure I have enough. And basically you just splotch it on. What I tend to try to do first is the inside. So the inside you're not going to want a whole bunch of paint because if you do you'll get it all gloopy and stuff. I do not paint the inside part where the picture goes because I don't want it to be ruined. So all I do is do the inside part right here. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. Just paint that up here. And when you're doing this, you can use as little or as much paint as you want, depending on the look you want. If you want more of a translucent look, you can do lighter. If you want a more of a solid look, you can do darker. So I'm just going to do this part here. I'm doing it really sloppy for sake of time. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do want to show you exactly how long this will take. It won't take too long. I guess I should slow it down a little bit so I can show you exactly where I'm painting. You can see it's just lightly right here. You don't want to get it where the picture goes because sometimes paint, even if it is dried, sometimes can end up over time staying on your frame and on your picture, and you don't want to do that, especially if it's a treasured memory that you only have one copy of. That would be very bad. And with me being a scrapbooker and a memory keeper, I would probably cry. So we've got almost the middle part done. Trust me, this is probably the longest part of the entire project because you want to be a little bit more detailed. So we've got all the inside done, as you can see. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, what I did was I took the back of this here where the picture part goes and I pushed it out so it almost gives us a little bit of a leverage, or a ledge, I'm sorry, so that it's not resting directly onto the area that I'm going to put it down on. I did not paint the back of my frame, And I also, like I said, did not paint the inside where the picture goes. The reason being is because the dowel goes in and out of here, and I thought it would really mess it up. And the other thing too is sometimes if you decide to rest this up on a wall or something like that, again, the paint can come off. Sometimes it happens depending on what area you live in, if you live in a humid area, etc., etc. I live in California, so that probably would not be an issue, but always better to be safe than sorry. So what I'm going to do here is just paint away. So I'm just going to brush this paint on. And there's quite a bit of it. I really love the folk art paint. I've used it for my one-stroke classes. I took one-stroke painting. I love to dabble with a little bit of everything that's crafty. I've always been that way. I think that part of it is because I think it's a great creative outlet, and it's fun, and I love the results. So, I love also the way that this paint and the way it's soaking in shows the grain of the frame. I think that's really fantastic. I love the texture of that. So in addition to the texture from the frame, we're also going to have the texture from the bubble wrap. Okay? So I'm going to just put this on. Now I am going to do a light second coat. I like to do that just to make sure that I haven't missed any areas. Okay? So I'll do that after I do the edges, and I'll show you that in just a second. You'll still get all the texture and the wood grain and everything like that, but it just makes sure that it's just a little bit more solid. I am losing little brushels. It's a new word. I'm using losing brush hairs on my project, so I had to get that out of the way. Okay, and the inside should be dry, so I'm just going to grab it like that so I don't get too much paint on myself. Okay, and like I said, this is a pretty quick project. I will be doing one more layer of paint just to make sure I've got it all. So then I'm going to hold it from the inside and just do the edges. Okay, so we've got this here. Do the outside edge so it's got that finished look. Again, if you choose to do the back of the frame, you're welcome to do so. I have had experiences doing it great, and I have had experiences doing the back of a frame not so great and left marks. So it really does depend on what you're using it for, and I always use caution more to the caution because I want to make sure that I don't ruin something that I may want to keep, because again, that would be really sad and I'd be very, very frustrated. Especially if you're giving this as a gift, someone may want to put it up on their wall, and if they do so, you don't want to have them leave a mark of especially bright blue paint. But I love this color paint. I thought it was perfect for swimming. And let's make sure I got the corner there. I did. So we're going to do this right here. I still did get paint on my fingers, but a lot less when I did it the way I did it. That way I'm not totally getting my inside of my hand completely painted right after I added the paint. So let's see here. Sometimes I will put some paint here and dab off a little because I may have added a little bit too much to my brush, and that's okay. Okay, so I've got all the edges done. And a little bit on the back, as you can see, but that's okay. You can also add a back of paper to cover that if you'd like, to have a nice finished edge. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the final coat, and with that, I'm just going to add it like this. You want to make sure when you apply the bubble wrap that for the design, you want to make sure that the paint is wet, otherwise it will not work. So you want to make sure you have the paint still have some type of wetness to it so that it will pick up on the design and the texture. You can also do this with stamping. If you were to lay down some ink, you could lay down some ink and stamp off of it is what it's called. You will stamp off the design, and then the design will show up on your area there that you're stamping off on. So what we're going to do now, it's all painted. We're going to take our bubble wrap, and you want it bubble side down, okay? And you're just going to do you could do one of two things. You can either do it this way, which is what I'm going to do so I can show you, or you can put the bubble wrap side up and put the frame down on it. So either way, I'm just going to gently lay it down like this, and then I'm going to press. I don't necessarily have to pop the bubbles, but if that's what you feel like doing, you're welcome to do so. Oop, I got one. So we're just going to gently press on here, make sure that we've got that design. And you're pressing hard enough so that it shows the design, but not too hard to where it pops the bubbles, or you can actually pop the bubbles if you want, if that's what you want to do, because I know it's fun, isn't it? So, okay. And we'll just peel it off. And as you can see, you've got this cool little design here on the bubble wrap. But what's even cooler, and I'll set that aside, is this. Now once it dries, it'll look even more fantastic, as you saw on the other frame, but you can see how that awesome design shows up. It's not super obvious, it's very subtle, but with this beautiful paint that is metallic and shiny, it really gives a great look, and I think it matches perfectly for a swim picture that I have in my mind. So I hope that you enjoyed this creation today, and I hope that you'll think of different ways and different things you can do to create a different look. You can use wax paper, you can use aluminum foil, you could use saran wrap or plastic wrap, whatever you would call it, to make a whole bunch of different looks. So I hope you enjoyed this today, and thank you so much for going on a creative journey with Melissa. Be sure to subscribe to our blog and our YouTube channel, and check out our website at www.acreativejourneywithmelissa.com, or you could check out our website also at www.acjwm.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Bye-bye.